Hello and welcome back to the Little Scale Cars YouTube channel. Today in the review box we have the Bianco Benny version of the Tarmac Works Pagani Zonda Cinque. Now this is a casting we have already reviewed, but this is a new deco for it, and it is probably the deco for the Zonda Cinque. And so let's go ahead and take a closer look and see if it is worth adding to your collection. Let's take a look at our casting to get things started. So this is a casting we have already reviewed, so we'll just kind of go over it briefly, taking a look at our proportions. If you want a full casting review, I will leave a link to that video in the top corner there. But we'll put it down and bring up a picture of the real-life counterpart. Alright, so let's take just a quick look. We do have our plastic mirrors. Our headlights are casted into the main body. We do have our dive planes here also casted into the main body as well. Hood scoop, I believe, is plastic. And then our rear wing is plastic as well. And then we do have the two pieces. And once again, we do have an engine that's all kind of plastic in there, detailed in. And again, we're just kind of going over this quickly because we have gone over this casting before, but overall, the casting is still pretty good. For our paint and deco department, so this is the Bianco Benny version of the Zonda Cinque, which, if you ask me, is like the definitive version of the Zonda Cinque. This is the one that they kind of used on all the promotional material, I guess. So it's kind of, when you think Zonda Cinque, it's kind of what you think of, in my opinion. And we'll go ahead and put the real-life version of this deco in the top right corner there. So there was 5 of these cars in real life, and I do think this is the only one that actually looks like this, which is, when I was younger, I used to think this was actually all 5 of them were done up like this, and all the other ones were simply for Need for Speed. But glad that that is not actually the case, because that orange one looks fantastic. Moving on to our details category. Again, we have already gone over most of this, so we'll make it quickly here. We do have our headlights up front. Instead of inserts, they are simply painted on. We've got little reflector things, maybe a piece of headlight, something in there. We do actually have a little bit of meshing in here on these intakes, which is very nice. We do not have our Pagani logo right here, where it should be, which is a little bit annoying. Moving down to our sides, though, we do have this silver reflector thingy here. We do have our Horatio Pagani signature. We have our red stripe that goes all the way down. We do have our Zonda Cinque right there on the piece of engine cover. And on the back, we do have our taillights that are executed really well. We have our exhaust, which looks really nice, the silver ring going around the entire thing. And then we do have our Zonda Cinque little emblem there as well. So overall, our details are really, really nice, and the quality holds from the orange one over to this one. Now for our roll test, this is a Tarmac Works Global 64 model, so it does roll. It rolls pretty smoothly as well. For our pros and cons, the biggest pro is that this thing just looks fantastic. The green one that I got had some quality control issues. The orange one that I got didn't have any of those, but I'm heavily biased towards the orange one because orange and Pagani's just looks perfect to me. But this is kind of, like I said earlier, the definitive Zonda Cinque deco, in my opinion, and it came out really, really nice. For our cons section, on the orange one, I mentioned that I didn't particularly like how they did the headlights. Instead of them being an insert, they're just kind of painted on. On this white one, they actually don't look quite as cheap as they did on the orange one. I'm not exactly sure why. They look better, though. However, I do think it's time that we point out our con here. There is no Pagani logo right on this little piece here, and there should be. That's on the real-life car. It should be on this model, and it's just not. And it's not like the worst thing. It's not super distracting or anything, but it is noticeable. It is something that I noticed on the real car that we don't get here. For some quick size comparisons, here we have the Tarmac Works Zonda Cinque next to some other Pagani models that you might have, with the Tarmac Works Pagani Huayra R and the Hot Wheels Pagani Huayra Roadster. And here we have it with some other Zondas you might have in your collection, with the Mini GT Zonda F and the Hot Wheels Zonda R. And here is a ride height comparison between the Zonda Cinque from Tarmac Works and the Zonda F from Mini GT. Someone had mentioned that they thought the Tarmac looked like it was a lot higher, and it does sit just a touch higher, but it's really not that noticeable side by side. And I think the Zonda Cinque actually does sit a little higher than the Zonda F in real life anyway. So it is now time for my overall thoughts, and I think I'm going to give this one a 9.7 out of 10. I gave the orange one a 9.8. This thing came out amazing, but I just have a little bit of bias towards the orange one because I just think orange and Zondas look just perfect combination. So with that being said, though, this one is easily just on par with it. I mean, it is fantastic. I think, though, however, because I think that this is the definitive Zonda deco, or Zonda Cinque deco, I think if you're only going to pick up one of these decos that this casting gets, I think that this one is probably the one to get. It's really nice, and this metallic white kind of just came out really nice. Kind of got a little bit of metal flake in there. It looks fantastic. And yeah, overall, I think it's one that is definitely worth adding to your collection, and especially if you're a Pagani fan, if you're a Zonda fan, it really is something that you do not want to miss out on. And that's all I have for this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and leave a comment telling me what your thoughts are on this particular model. And I will see you in the next video.